So, in superhero comics, death can be kind of a pretty common occurrence. While you can expect a lot of A-list characters to come back, like your Supermans and Batmans, lower tier characters can be a bit harder to get back. One character that I think's got shafted from time to time is my guy Nightwing. Now, he's always been a huge staple of the DC universe, but only in recent years has he been getting a lot more love in other media, such as cartoons and TV shows, as his adult persona, Nightwing. There have been a lot of attempts to kill him off and put him outside of stories and kind of take the mantle away from him. And I'm going to look at a couple of those today and kind of explain a little bit about what I really like about him. So back in 2005, in the event Infinite Crisis, Nightwing was supposed to be the really big death that was supposed to take place at the end of that story. You see, an editor back then who was in charge of taking care of the stories and pushing things in the direction that they were supposed to be going found Dick to be an irrelevant character because he wasn't Robin anymore, and him being older just kind of aged Batman up. And it was kind of felt that his stories had reached a natural progression of ending in with his death. But of course, lots of people were against this, and not just fans, but also other writers. And fortunately, we're able to save him from being killed off in a seemingly permanent death. And Dick just has so many deep ties to all corners of the DC universe. He's everybody's big brother, essentially. And he's a character that really defined the whole teenage superhero sidekick thing, and he's pretty much responsible for the founding of the Teen Titans as well. And of course, he's known for being Batman's sidekick, but he's kind of a sidekick to a lot of the heroes back then. He spent just as much time with Superman back in the Silver Age World's Finest stories, and Superman was pretty much an uncle to him, and Wonder Woman was more like an aunt to him. He was raised by the whole Trinity practically, and that really shows in all the influences that they gave him. He has a bit of everyone's qualities. You know, he can be broody like Batman, but he's also super hopeful like Superman. And he's kind of got the nurturing quality that Wonder Woman has. And it's Superman's influence that particularly runs deep into him that a lot of people aren't really all that aware of. You see, Superman even influenced where he got his name from, because the name Nightwing kind of does fit in with the whole bat motif, and it's not too specifically tied there, but hey, Nightwing, it sounds pretty good next to Batman and Robin. But the name Nightwing itself actually originates from an old story back in Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 69, in where Superman and Jimmy have to go and disguise themselves and sneak into the bottled city of Kandor because Superman's seen as a villain there, so he has to take on the name Nightwing and gives the name Flamebird to Jimmy. These old stories would later be referenced in a flashback where Superman would be telling a young Robin about the old Kryptonian hero Nightwing, and this story stuck with him and is how he came up with the name once he broke off from Batman after their falling out. So to me and a lot of his cult following fans kind of find Dick to be the heart and soul of DC. He just has such unique relationships with all these other characters and deeply cares about people. And he's been on so many different teams and interacted in so many ways with a lot of other characters. So the decision to kill him was really not a great one. And so he was safe for a while. So now we jump all the way to the New 52, which was a reboot, an entire restructuring of all the stories that were going on at the time, and starting everything from number one, giving everybody new origins. And in the first line-wide crossover in the New 52, an event called Forever Evil had the Earth 3 crime syndicate invade our main universe. And they had their whole take on the crime syndicate, which is also an old team of pretty much alternate evil universe realities versions of the Justice League. And in that, Nightwing's main part was when he was captured and had his secret identity revealed to the world. So there was no real going back to that. But while he was captured, he also had a bomb attached to his heart, which Lex Luthor actually had to save him from. Superman's big main bald villain. And he stopped his heart, removed the bomb, and then restarted it. But there's still one problem after that. His secret identity was still exposed to the world, and he was presumed dead, so Batman just told him to go along, pretend you're dead, and and join a secret spy organization, which, I mean, there's really nowhere else to go with that. I mean, it's kind of the most logical step, I guess. So, throughout the rest of the New 52 line of books, he spends his time as an agent of Spiral, and we actually don't see him get his role as Nightwing back until we get our next reboot, Rebirth. And in this, Dick was restored to a lot of the staples that people know him for, like he was given Bloodhaven back, a lot of his villains were reintroduced, and Nightwing in Rebirth has been kind of a combination of everywhere the character has been and sort of putting them all together in a new package. But here semi-recently that was brought to an end, as in Batman 55, he was shot in the head by the KG Beast and has amnesia now. And we pick back up in Nightwing number 50, where we do see that he has amnesia. He survived the bullet, but he has no recollection of his life except for the moment when his parents were killed in the circus, which of all the memories to be left with, at least it's an important one. But with no memory other than that, not only does he abandon the name Nightwing, but he also abandons his own name and starts going by Rick Grayson, but just with a C, no K. So he remembers nothing of his superhero life, including any of the Bat family members, and just after him and Batgirl got practically engaged. But hey, that's not the only Bat relationship we've seen fall apart recently. So, with Rick Grayson leaving behind the mantle of Nightwing, we actually get a whole team of Nightwings now, which I'll admit is kind of a cool idea, as each one of them has a different version of his suit over the years. And so it's been pretty much a whole year since we've been waiting for our boy in blue to get back to the role where we all really want him to be. And it's just been like a continuous waiting for this storyline to kind of wrap up, and it's been going pretty much with no end in sight. But that's until this recent Batman Day. Yeah, on Batman's 80th birthday, we got confirmation that the new team that's taking over the Batman books is looking to restore Dick to his proper form. So I can say us Nightwing fans are ready for him to return after a long year of waiting and waiting for the story to wrap up, and what seemed to be is more of a couple of arc kind of situation turned into a big long event. And it will be nice to finally get our character back, because I'm sure you can relate to having your favorite character taken away from you and just kind of sitting there just waiting. And so I know I said I was going to talk about his deaths, even though he technically has not died at all. But I mean, he's effectively dead now, but like I said, we know he's coming back. So I will give you 2 bonus deaths at times that he actually died. So back in the original Earth 2, we see a grown-up Robin who never became Nightwing, just kept going as Robin for his whole adult life, and he died. And that's about all I have to say about that. But in the Injustice comic adaptation of the video game, we see that Nightwing dies there. And in the video game, we're kind of just hinted at it by Damian. Damian kind of just offhandedly mentions that he killed him, and it's sort of left at that. But in the comic, they actually elaborate on it, that it was a rock that killed Dick. Well, maybe that's a little unfair. Damian hit Dick with an Eskrima stick, and he fell over and cracked his head on the rock. Well, yeah, that's not much better. Pretty much exactly what I just said. And well, there we are, all caught back on Nightwing. I'll definitely be looking at his series when he comes back to it. And I'll probably go back and read over everything I've missed with this storyline, because I do want to see, was it any good? I don't know. I mean, maybe, sometimes an idea sounds outlandish and weird and like it totally would not work, but you never know. It could be fine. And I just want to say thanks for watching. Hopefully you come back and hear me listen to talk about more things in comics.